while though. Let's do some more. As you close up, a voice echoes down the corridor towards you. Sleeper, wait up. Fang? Oh, Fang. Fang is coming down the corridor towards you, wonky grin on his broad face. Hey, glad I caught you. Don't know you. Yeah, you do now. He puts a hand on your arm. Seen you hanging around, just wanted to chat. You staying in that thing? He nods back to the container, shaking his head. Probably can be hard to get a start on the eye. He looks away down the passage. What was it old Aaron said? The eye opens for us all. Nice idea, but well, not always very practical. He glances back at you. We do our best, but it isn't easy. You pass together into a main walkway, Haven Age, where we are one dysfunctional family. Fang puts an arm around you. Not part of the security branch, though. Don't worry, I'm with systems. So it's the Haven Age. Think of us at the Administrative Association for the Eye. Depending on who you talk to, we either emerge as a response to or a continuation of Andre Erlin's original union. Smiles personally, I avoid that topic. Stops you in the quiet passage to look. That's not what I'm here to discuss. I've been seeing some unusual network activity, and well, I know little about your sleepers. I have a small proposition for you, glances around. But well, this is not the place for it. I have an office that's just across the way. Give me a cycle or two to prepare, and when you are settled, stop by. He lowers his voice and gives you a dark look. In truth, I need you. If what they say true is about you sleepers, well, there's work to be done. Pass you in the back, his voice bright and his dark look suddenly gone. Stay clean, sleeper. He walks off down the passage, raising a hand in farewell. Are you good? I'm back in business, I think. Is he somewhere else? Drogos. You arrive in the buzz of activity at the yard. Red blinking lights flash across a vast dark shape, suspended below the dome. They flicker across the scorched hull plates and bent structures, building from holes in twisted shape. The cutter is huge and has been torn apart in some violent encounter. She's a beauty as she Drago stands up to the side, focused on the hulking ship as it lowered to the ground. What is it? That, my friend, is a grade A scrap. I should thank you. This place was on its last legs when you turned up. Now look at this. Ship descends slowly, its interior visible through multiple hull breaches. Struggle to gather the same enthusiasm as Drogo's for the monstrous craft. Can't help but think of what became of his crew. What happened? What do you mean that's at you? I managed to convince our salvager friends to give it to me a credit. That's what happened. And what happened to the ship? I'm not concerned. He shrugs. The ship creaks like a calving iceberg as it reaches the base of the yard. Drogo is visibly excited. I know I said you shouldn't stick around, but I'm gonna need some help with this one. The drones start to crawl over the hulk, blast illuminating flashes of the hull. Watching, you wonder if you arrived in a similar fashion, locked inside the container, the directly as an armed freighter lowered to the yard, their corpse ready to be butchered. Or was the container delivered to Drogo's on zone, a womb for your rebirth to the strange station? Shredder, perhaps if you could learn something about the ship, you might be able to trace the path that led you to this yard. Drogo squeezes your shoulder. After these past cycles, I think we're up to it. What do you think? You see the fading name of the ship blazing beside a windshield light. Let's do it. Glad to hear it. As he claps you on the back. Come back in a few, and we make a start. We can make a start. A real beauty. Dragos repeats, perhaps just to himself. You take one last look at the shattered ship. The drones start cutting the ship out of the yard. Then slip out of the yard. It's suddenly cold in the empty passage. One upgrade point. Go to your first drive. Each drive completes and unlocks an upgrade point to spend on upgrading your character. Access your character with the RB menu. First thing you see on the entering in the glint of Toshiro's implants, like cat's eyes, you have the dark of the corridor. Or in the dark of the corridor, he nods you in as you arrive at Sabine's door. The entryway is still dark and you push through the sheeting into the surgery. I have it. Sabine stands with the case open in front of him. A set of vials lined up inside, separated by foam inserts. They pick one up, rotating it with a warm light. I have no idea how Yatagan trail off. We should treat this with caution. It looks authentic, but I have no idea if I really what it appears to be on the test case. Seems to be the case. Unfortunately, I'm not sure we have another choice. They gesture for you to sit in the bed. Stabilizer works under a similar principle to an immunosuppressant in a transplant operation, and that it stops your body from rejecting the unfamiliar part of itself. In case of your frame, the unfamiliar part is in each of your biosynthetic organs and groups, which over time are identified by your body as foreign material and therefore must be eliminated. Sabine holds up a vial of the would-be stabilizer. However, unlike an immunosuppressant, stabilizer doesn't do this by eliminating your entire immune system. Instead, it re-encodes your biosynthetic organs with new protein chains, which acts as passcodes with your immune system. The stabilizer refreshes those passcodes, keeping your frame from rejecting all of its own organs. Passcodes. Very basic terms, yes. They sound. Look, what matters here is that stabilizer should be able to encode any organic or biosynthetic material, dark matter, be accepted by your immune system. When it's away, at least if the stabilizer is genuine, the only way to know for sure is to inject the vial. Begin readying the syringe. I will start with a small dose to limit the risk. Okay, let's do it. Sabine cracks the glass neck in the stabilizer vial and uses the syringe to extract a fraction of the liquid. You tap the syringe and you watch as if any sign might emerge from the clear liquid. Barely feel the needle, your frame registering the initial injection but with little response. Sensation begins to spread from the site, a fizzing, trembling wave that disperses through your arm with incredible speed. Vision goes white, and when it returns, Sabine appears encased in showers of sparkling light that slowly fade in darkness as you settle back against the bed. In darkness, muffled noises like an argument heard from underwater, prickling icy cold. You sit up, and Sabine is waiting for you in a chair by the window. Facing away from you, backlit by the glow of reversely awake. What happened? Stabilizer is genuine. They sat down beside the bed. I don't know how he had gotten the wired case of this stuff, but they did. Sabine looks troubled and distracted. You should rest some more, but you are going to have to do that somewhere else. Just to the door, I have other patients. Sorry. Continue. Sabine nods towards the case. I'm afraid I can't offer you any more doses. You are going to need to pay for your next dose. Silence fills the room as they return to the glowing slate. Looking around the room, it seems different somehow. The things have moved or shifted. Wonder how long you have been out. I got an achievement. I didn't get it on my console, but I got it on my phone. Paid off. Clear the debt and return the favor for your first friend of the eye. Sabine. Nothing comes free, sleeper. Remember that. You manage to get to your feet and wander onto the hallway. The queue stretches down the flickering corridor. Toshiro stands impatiently by the door and fixes you with a glare as you leave. Lower your eyes as you stumble past, somehow faintly aware of the situation. Stage spinning around beneath you. Oh, we're looking good now, boys. How much do they cost? 100? Okay, we got plenty of money. I don't need to buy one right now. I'm gonna buy some food. You are worth 3. Okay. Just buy a 1. I got you. Buy a 1 and 3. Or 1 and 2. Could go 3, but I don't really see a point. Upgrades available? Did I not spend you? What are you talking about? Or trust the trader, don't mind if I do. Alright. Go to bed. We're gonna have some actions tomorrow, that's for sure. Forgot to move. So then we'll buy again tomorrow or today. Plenty of food. Fang. Sleeper, Fang catches your attention as you approach the Heaven Age building leading against the bay door to the side of the entrance. We do have a 2. You approach easier to come in this way, security, all that. Gives you a look, you know. Slams a button on the bay, creaks open. Blinking lights in the dark behind it. Follow Fang inside, truth be told. I don't spend much time upstairs, this is where I work. The door hisses as it closes behind you. The bay is filled with pieces of hardware, all rigged up to generators and diagnostic slates, things if you don't recognize that glow with a blue screen light. There's a chorus of hums that blends in a single wave of static, filling the dark corners of the room. Fang leans back on the server stack, gestures around. You like it? It's incredible. I thought you'd say that. It taps a nearby server stack, which bleeps in response. This is my treasure trove, all dragged up in the sea of systems we call the Eye. You wouldn't believe what this place runs on. He steps over to the towering block, speckled with vents. Some of these systems are built from the original station, AE-1. The one Solheim built. We've had to invent new components to repair things we never built. Reverse engineer entire subsystems into existence. Residents here look up at the Eye and think they are seeing a constant, concrete reality, but the place in the system is constant flux, decaying and growing, collapsing into new configurations. He walks down between the hardware stacks, and you follow. We are keeping this place alive, but also making it into something new, dragging it away from those corporate origins. He stops. At least that's what I'm trying to do. Turns back to face you among the flickering machines, the hum all around you. Now you can see the two-sleeper, all these systems and sections. You can, can't you? I can see it. Makes sense, right? You are between here and there, between the people and their systems. You light up this place like a beacon. That's what I need. You glance at the lights around you. As they do, they see them. And as you do, they seem to flicker, to realign, to follow your gaze. Fang notices it too. Guessing that being a beacon isn't always a deal when you're on the run, though. They're tracking me. Maybe they can help with that. There's a lot of old growth in this place, subsystems I can't see. Access protocols like lost to time and decay, secrets, crap load of secrets. One sec. Gonna hydrate. Okay. With your help, I can unlock this place, break off those last ghost limbs of corporate control, lowers his voice below the hum. Even in Heaven Age, there is an old growth, those whose roots trace back to those bad old days. You want me to dredge up the past, and I'll see what I can do for the tracker of yours, he winks. I'm in. Bane pumps his fist and claps you on the shoulder, meets your eye, you won't regret a sleeper. Fang passes you a ragged-looking metal tab, a gifty smiles at Solheim cipher. Look it up front from the depths of the station. Slide down to the old network gate, and you will be able to pull out all kinds of secrets from the nodes inside. It walks you back to the front of the bay. Start by bringing me whatever you can turn up. Use the emulated mind of yours to see what's there. Let's get a picture of how things are. Those above you nods at the ceiling are going to meet the acquisitions budget and pay you for whatever useful data you bring in. I know you need it. Send the door button again. Keep it quiet and keep it clean, sleeper, and I'll see you soon. You step, blinking back out of the passage. Blinking back out into the passage, there's flickering lights still in the back of your mind. So I got like allergies right now. We had a couple of 2s in here, 1s and 2s. We have a 2 die. So here you go. Okay, 1 to encrypt the keys. As you drift back to the back from the node, something latches onto you. A thread strung tight around you tethers you into place. A taste, the voice makes you shiver. We're somehow both distant and close behind your ear. See a distant glint of stuff shut off, and then suddenly a shape is at your side, stalking around you. It stalks around you, circling like a shark, like a wolf, and the unknown, a surgeon processing. Please hold. A thread around you thickens until what is a ring, a cylinder. A tunnel of light circled around you. It's blinding for a moment, and then it is gone. As it fades, you see a figure, a creature in front of you. A strange head flickers between different angles, reading you. What did you do? Shape paces around you on lithe legs. Though there is no sound, though there is no ground here to pace on. Entity, identify, origin, serial, cadence. Figure faces you expectantly. Sleeper, as an ARP. Unknown, known. Figure, a strange head rotates. Bracket signature. Of and not of. Tempting interface. As the figure speaks, more threads begin to spiral from the head. Thick, snaking vine like ribbons that flex and wave. They appear approached with intent. Stop. Figure halts threads, is head switching. Entity, your identity is unknown. We only seek to correct illegalities. Can you confirm your legal rights to sentience? I'm a person. Incorrect, you are an entity. All at once, Hunter's head is directly in front of yours, blocking your vision. You stink of their taste, the one from the sealed dock. Hunter shimmers with fury. I will find access, I will interface. Sealed dock? Entity hides in the rotunda. You are his puppet. Hunter extends a razor-edged thread. I will not be diverted from my task. It glows with murderous intent. Strike. Lash out with all your force, not a physical strike, but a focusing spike of interference. Left out like a tip of the spear. Continue. Hunter's trumble shifts separates. Wake up. Open your eyes, blinking back into the station light, shaking with fear. Gate S7 access. You need a 1? Okay. Alright, well. Most of what comes in from the starboard belt is corroded trash. Sometimes something valuable can be found among the salvage. Predictive reasoning. As actions display potential positive and negative outcomes. The freighter crew are eager to get their payload in the Ort exchange, and they'll pay a wage to anyone willing to help them. You can't buy more than 3. I'll buy 1, definitely. Random scrap item. We have 3 days to buy stuff. I'm not worried about it right now. I should buy some food. Can I use my mouse? No. I will eat. This is the good stuff, baby. Okay, well, let's go help out Fangs Bay. Anything marked inside the hunter vision? Need another cipher. So I'm dumb. You would give me one, I guess? If I get a 2 die? Okay. Any of these would give me one, apparently, it seems like. Okay. For now, we will do this. Are we going to bed? Empty container? Couple of 6-years, then mind if I do? Got a 2 and a 1? Okay. Not you. A 2, don't mind if I do. It wasn't the Haven Age cipher. Need a 2. Anything need a 1? Need a 1. Okay. Anything need a 3 or a 6? I'm gonna go with no. Alright, we're getting there. Go to bed. We'll eat today. Got a 1 and a 2. The mind if I do. Throwing a 2 for the Haven Age agent. Thank you for the 5 cryo. We don't have the right one. What is it? We need. I need to have an 8 cipher. Can I talk to what's his face? Fangs Bay. He'll pay me for this. We still have a 1 to use. 2. Ooh, and a 4. open at 1. It's not what we're gonna get, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Cryptic key, thank you. I'm cool with only getting 4 die tomorrow. Let's keep helping out our boy, Drogos. Finish off the Winter's Light, please. Squeeze into the office at the entrance of the yard. You lay out everything you have on the Winter Light across the middle desk. Your makeshift forensic notes glowed on Dragos' old writing slate, overlapping lines and scrawled annotations. Head of drone scans filled the small terminal with a spectrum of colors. Heat map of damage and decay, a crumpled printout from the office's ship. Registry lies beside them. Synthetic paper, so thin and almost transparent. Look at the monitor. Reaction failure. This is the verdict that anyone would have returned from a cursory glance at these static heat maps of the remains of the Winter Light. On the terminal screen, the ship is shown in a section. Biotext of color marketing the approximate damage the ship sustained. Dominating the view of the single blood-red rose radiating from the ship's fraction drive. Simple story, a catastrophic failure of the drive core leading to the fatal hull breach. A well-documented failure, likely brought on by the wear of misuse. But you aren't looking at those, at the rows of the reactor, you are looking at a smaller, paler mark. One that might be easy to miss at the first glance, and is a thumbprint size and delicately placed over the control servos of the ship's main external airlock. Suggests a controlled shaped explosion, one designed to punch through the hole and allow access to the airlock from the outside. You're looking at it because it's troubling you. Look at the slate. Your attempts to reconstruction of the Winter Light has been its fatal. The Winter Lights before its fatal accidents consist of a series of overlapping sketches and diagrams showing possible layouts and configurations of the cutter. It was no off-the-shelf model. It was heavily modified, part replaced with inventive configurations. The new retrofitted into the old handmade joints and reconditioned filters. It was someone's pride and joy. All the time project kept running with care and intuition. Also contained a set of hidden compartments. You missed them at first, with the hole where the hole had been thickened. The corners around disguise the change, but they are there. Look at the printout. Plan list shows a registration history of the Winter Light. The gaps between the entries, tantalizingly opaque. Its first registration was a couple of thousand cycles ago on this very station, logged at the central hub. From here, the registry tells the story of the busy ship, one that rarely stayed on station for more than a few cycles, and often took the voyages that kept it away from the eye through the 100 cycles. For up to 100 cycles, Winter Light got a little rest. The whole ship, many cycles under its belt, carefully maintained. That reactor failure preceded by a carefully concealed external lift entry. A suite of hidden compartments tucked away. This was the Winter Light, and this was the story. But that's not the full story, because there's something else. Little more than a list, tiny chunk of data you were able to pull from the ship's systems. The main system were fried, of course, but the Winter Light had a separate system, one tucked away in one of the hidden compartments, armored, air-walled. The list, the only recoverable piece from the whole system, is a partial inventory. Details the contents of the hidden compartments. Some of it you recognize, some of it you don't. Ship mine ROMs, shimmer, cryo chain codes, and then the final story, passenger sleeper. You stare at the list on the terminal and try not to think about what it was like arriving here, cold for so long, half frozen to the freight container. Has the sleeper been smarter, luckier? How had they convinced the Winter Light, a smuggler's ship, if you ever saw one, to extract them from SM ARP? Luckier, you laugh. There had been no remains found in any of the Winter Light's compartments. You had checked, they weren't so lucky, you guess. Not in the end. Hold up a vial of stabilizer to the light. This was all you find in the compartment. A parting gift from SM ARP. Won't go to waste now, you put it in your back pocket. Thought still bothers you though. Two ships carrying sleepers coming in at the same yard. Two, one after another. This feels wrong. You flick back and forth between datasets and the terminal, thinking, and you see that thumbprint again, the mark of someone trying to get in, someone who entered the wintry light with precision and speed, and when they were done, left the reactor to clean up the rest. The thought of the person makes you shiver. Suddenly, the office door cracks open. Drogo stands in the doorway, staring at the equipment and notes you have assembled. What's all this? He snatches the slate from the desk. Faster than you realize you can move, you run an investigation here. What am I paying you for? Joan on his shoulder starts whining surely, his anger passing his thoughts through his implants. Where's the ship from? Leave us alone. He starts shaking his head. I know you have a lot of questions, but this isn't the way. Turns away, muttering to himself, this is the last thing I need. She better sleep around it. What did you say? Pushes past you to look at the terminal and the list. Shakes his head. So what? Aren't all you trying to escape? You're lucky it was you that made it out alive, not them. Pulls his arms indignantly. Draco seems to steady himself and then turns back to you. Heat map of the reactor failure reflected in his headset glassy eye. I'm giving you a place to stay, giving you work. He stumbled over the words. I'm sure what to say. There's plenty others who would have sold you on, turned you in, but not me, no. I know. Loki felt me too. I'm quiet, Drone. Done well by you, and you've returned the favor. He straightens up and clears his throat, but the obsession you have with the ship isn't gonna work for me. I can't have you making my clients nervous. I can't have you digging up whatever it is you were after. Can't work anymore. What about the winter light? Afraid about the ship? You have enough to keep you up. Douglas reaches across at you and flicks off the terminal. As the light on the monitor dies, a kind of eerie calm falls on both of you. Whatever that was, it was done. You made it out, sleeper. That means you're to move on. Or do they come for me? Then you run. You don't come back, and you don't come here. You don't scream. You don't shout. You run. The dark Drago's headset glints, and you wish for the moment you could see his eyes. Meet them. Maybe he would understand. You know from the desk, and Drogo gathers the notes, stuffing them into your pockets of his overalls. Hold the door for you, his headset expressionless as always. You can stay in the container, but I won't take that from you. Don't come back. His tone is final and definite. With an edge of disappointment, you walk out of the office and then out in the yard, stopping to look back. You leave the yard, thumbing the vial in your in your pocket, knowing that this at least guarantees you a little more time. As you walk, your mind once again drifts to the person who killed the Winter Light, and whether or not the person will come for you. Achievement unlocked. Fellow traveler. Found a gift from someone like you hidden away. I am a trusted trader now. Look at that. Okay, we'll buy some food. Energy +3 and fungus fan. Ship mines cannot be built from scratch, but if you have enough salvage fragments, it can be assembled into a fabricator. Ship mine core. X. Core of the ship AI, amputated and in hibernation. Minecraft. Build a ship mine from the fragments. Sleeper, Emphas calls out to you, a booming voice that echoes throughout the corridor. Tell me a story. It throws a handful of chopped mushrooms into his wok, the fire leaping up to the oil. I see you, cycle in, cycle out, but we never speak. Tell me a story. What kind? Any kind. He pauses to drizzle something from a plastic bottle into the wok. But one of yours. He looks up at you. Nothing stolen. You pause. Spices rich in your nostrils and think about the kind of story you'd like to tell Emphas. Look at Emphas, the listener, and imagine he has heard it all before. Perhaps he would enjoy a strange story, something with more spice. Tell him about your dreams. All these sleepers that you're telling Emphas have dreams. Some were simple memories left over from the emulation process that had become tangled up in their minds and would come out while they slept. It wasn't rare to hear a sleeper in the dorm scream or cry out in the night. But your dreams, those gray skeletal after images, a skeleton of systems and structures, of threads and patterns, weren't like the others. They weren't memories or nightmares. They were reflections of reality. It's distorted, yes, but somehow true. You learned back then to keep quiet about them, to let them flow through your mind like butter, like water. That wasn't until now, until you arrived at this place. One sec. Okay. This was until now, until you arrived at this place. Now your dreams colonize your waking life, slip behind your eyelids with every blink, and now you understand that they aren't dreams at all, but some process of interfacing, or speaking, of living in another world that flows through this one like a smoke through air. Tell him that you do not know if there is a reason for your dreams. Perhaps your reason, it is just some kind of side effect, or particular quality of the frame you inhabit. Whatever it is, it's a gift, and you hope to make use of it. Emphas finishes cooking and squints a little at you. Sleeper, he smiles, you were quite the storyteller. He eyes you and you realize that he's trying to gauge how honest you have been in your story. Emphas passes you the meal he has cooked, and you take it gratefully. So whenever you fill this thing up, you get a free meal. Maybe? Desiriti talks a natural exchange. Thank you, Sleeper. Thank you, Sleeper. He looks around at the emptying market. Time is done for today, and I did not want to keep you longer, so I will make a proposal. He gestures to the plastic boxes of ingredients stacked behind this wall. These are good enough for most, but someone told me a story that made me think a couple of cycles ago. When they crossed a gap in the greenway, fresh mushrooms grow. Have you heard this? No? Neither had I, but I trust the ones who told me. Emphas began packing up his things. Can you bring me some? I cannot cross a gap, and I worry about leaving my things behind. He smiles. I am sure a storyteller like you could handle the trip. I'll prepare them for you, and if you wish to tell it, be the audience for another story. Agreed. Good, booms Emphas. Then I will wait for you to bring them. Emphas sighs his walk away and straightens up. I'll prepare a recipe for the sleeper. Good luck with your foraging. Turn away and walk back to the main market. The rich taste of Emphas's food still lingers in your mouth. Stories for your food? You think a trade that seems more than fair. We're gonna eventually pay up here, I'm aware. I'm more interested in the mistaken tracker. I gotta get Salium data. We'll be leaving. got a fragment and scrap components. Give me cryo. I don't even know what my cryo is, man. Go to bed. I'm gonna be doing a slash marker here, I believe. Okay. I'll be back in just a moment and we'll do a little bit more.